Hold it, gamers. I know you want to watch EndWalker, but I'm here to tell you there's about to be major spoilers. You're in the main heart of this expansion. So be warned, if you haven't caught up with the videos or you haven't played EndWalker for yourself, go do it, or I will never stop being angry. But if you are caught up, please enjoy the video.
Getting more fucked up. The roads paved.
To sacrifice?
Paved in sacrifice.
As Yustola and Alice said, we must continue.
Boy howdy, who's gonna be taken away this time?
If you're either Yustola or Urianger.
Perhaps this is the memory of an altogether different world. It would be prudent to learn more of it then. Tread carefully lest we lose our footing in the sand.
My hunch is right. It might be between Alize or Graha.
I thought Graha or Ishtola because me and Fluffy love, well, you know who respectively. So it's just like, boy howdy. It'd suck if they took somebody that we actually really loved.
Were it not for the pilot crystal embedded in the surface, it would appear to be an ordinary stone. A curious script hath been etched upon them, alas, it is not a language which I am familiar.
I cannot say I recognize it either.
Nor I. The dragons, from what I recall, preserve their knowledge in song and eschew the written word entirely. So we may assume that this is the work of another race, one we have yet to encounter. Intion claims that dragons will suffer a slow death, seeking the bliss of oblivion. But life we find here, like as not, doth wend its way towards a similar end.
Alice, what are you doing? Don't wander off. What do you suppose that is over there? Oh, I see it.
I'm not sure. It's hard to make out at this distance, but its surface seems to bear the same crystals of this monument.
See it in the horizon.
Yeah, this tower.
Meaning there's a chance we may find whoever built them both. We should go and have a look. Come on.
A giant eye monster.
I hate it. I mean...
Similar to the Terminus that takes...
By the way, remember when Meteon was giving her report back in Elpis that one of the planets that one of her sisters found was one of just desolate and sand like a giant desert.
Touch me.
And that's what this one's looking like.
Once again.
Sound like aliens.
Bless you?
That was cough.
Oh.
Thank you.
Excuse you. There you go. Drifting.
Their head came out.
Yeah?
Their head came off their head.
Oh, there's one like stupid close. Hold on.
Oh, there is? Oh, god damn it!
Probably at the top of the tower.
Yeah, probably, because I don't see it or hear it.
Alright, let's see the cutscene and then go get
Just
it.
go in here, yeah.
Oh? Hail, travelers. This is a most unexpected occurrence.
They're so cute. Oh, hello there. Is this your home?
Indeed it is. Ah, forgive me. I had forgotten. An exchange of introductions is expected when first meeting those with whom one is unacquainted.
Okay.
Oh.
Put that back.
When the vibration of vocal folds was required to convey our thoughts and intention, yeah, I believe, was the pronunciation used when referring to our people. Though it is not entirely applicable given our present state, you are welcome to use this appellation. As for nomenclature, to address my individual person, I believe it would be pronounced Kofkud.
Hawkhood.
Kofkud. Yes, Kofkud of the E.
We have encountered beings that communicate intermittently through thought, but never one that is wholly without voice. I presume we are having this conversation via the medium of ether, or dynamis, as this space is suffused with vast quantities of it. Fascinating in either case.
I gather your response to my presence is positive then? That as well, for there is something I wish to ask of you. Like yourselves, we Ia are ether-based life forms. Therefore, it may be surmised that your bodies are of comparable biological composition to those we once possessed. You have a number of queries regarding your subjective perception of the five senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. In total, I have prepared 198,712,180,827.
Uh,
Uh, that's rather a lot, isn't it? Ah, my apologies. I've omitted a great many details necessary to understand the nature of my request. Though we dispensed with our corporeal vessels long ago, we have rediscovered a need for the flesh, and we have endeavored to recreate our erstwhile forms. However, all pertinent records have been lost due to the passage of time. Take, for example, the nervous system. It is well within our power to recreate, but we have no frame of reference for sensations once experienced by our people, which may compromise our ability to interact with our physical environment. And the reason you need to regain corporeal forms? Why, to bring an end to our existence, of course. Though need is perhaps too strong a word. It would be a simple matter to unmake ourselves through use of etheric exsanguinators, but such a death seems inadequate. Traditionalists among us believe proper death requires an inescapable sense of impermanence in one's final moments, an experience found only with the bodies of flesh.
we should very much like to hear more of your plans. In exchange, we will answer any questions you have to the best of our ability.
Exchange of information would indeed prove useful. Very well. To ensure efficacious exchange, I hereby invite you to our home. Yes, the abode of the E, where we traditionalists prepare for our demise. I presume your consent to answer questions is indicative of tacit approval of our plans? In which case, your cooperation is greatly appreciated. I must caution you, however, to be mindful of the E wandering the desert. Their desire for bodies of flesh could be described as overzealous. Now, if you would follow me.
This is going rather smoothly, not that I'm complaining, mind. Even so, we mustn't forget their aim is oblivion, much like the dragons. Though I fail to see why a civilization so seemingly advanced would choose to unmake all they have created. At any rate, we will find no answers dallying here. Let us be on our way. Eastrol is going to be next, and I'm going to cry.
Larry or Jay, one or the other. So,
Welcome to our abode. Most of our computers you will find remain idle in their domiciles, though your quizzical expressions indicate my phrasing is unclear. I speak, of course, of the violet crystalline constructs hanging from the stone structures there.
You say they remain idle, but what of your work to regain corporeal bodies?
An astute question, and understandable given your finite nature. We have no desire to pursue our research, for it is no longer necessary. If, in our idleness, we are struck by sudden inspiration, we rise to pursue said inspiration to its conclusion. That is why I was present for your arrival, and why I continue to engage with you still. But while the others are not currently in a motile state, rest assured they would not object were you to disturb their respite. You need only cast your thoughts towards one of the crystalline domiciles to communicate.
just run up and punch one.
Hey,
Another crystal over there. Or aetheryte. Touch.
You cast your thoughts towards the crystalline domicile, but there is no response.
Oh,
Well, they're all sleeping.
How do you cast your thoughts, though?
too bad.
Oops.
You wish to speak. Very well. Pray, a moment, if you would.
That way.
Oh, I'm just attuning to the aether real quick.
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
So I don't forget.
Why we seek our end, you ask? If you wish to know, I will tell you. Just a moment. I must remember. What form did I take when last I emerged?
Alright.
Damn it.
There's a lot of Nihilism in this expansion.
Yeah. The strange moaning comes and goes, but soon fades into silence.
Don't
Someone
disturb
wants-
me.
Someone wants 5 more minutes. Oh,
Whoa.
careful. I would not swim through that if I were you.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was that deep. I was just wondering what
You
the heck
ha-
it was.
You have been space poisoned.
How's it like swimming through liquid consciousness?
I'll just wait for Silver to get over here.
He's
Do a
attuned to
tone.
I don't like the last name of an aetherite. Base
I didn't even
Omicron.
notice that.
I don't like that.
Did your inquiries yield satisfactory responses?
They barely talked at all. Get them to get off their asses.
I see. If they fail to answer, then it is likely because their minds have unraveled due to prolonged idleness. They are not but concentrated ether now. Worry not. There are no others who have need of those lodgings, and they will not prove a hindrance to remain as they are. But more importantly, you said some few did answer your request for an audience, yes? I imagine they will be with us ere long.
Jesus. It just unraveled sitting there.
Ash
Uh,
abandoned?
Wait, how
It-
does this look in the journal? I'm checking real quick.
Oh shit. Well, there's a cutscene.
Oh, well, just go. Whoa.
I think it's.
They're not any better.
I imagine, you know,
They're
with
just
them
as bad.
dissipating into aether in the crystal, it's like sitting in the ethereal sea for too long. You just eventually dissipate.
Awesome.
I had no luck, but everyone else fared well enough. Quite a few E have awakened.
There they are.
Shlump, 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 shlump.
They look cool in their own right, like a Kingdom Hearts character.
Yeah, I think they're cute.
May I introduce you to Lalach, Dudi, and Neeg.
Hello.
Assuming that they used to have feminine, masculine sounding was the ich or the dich sound.
It has been too long, Kuj. Brain short-circuited, sorry. I dare say Saturn the Fourth has since completed an orbit.
Indeed. Until the travelers brought it to my attention, I hadn't noticed how unraveled some had become.
Travelers? Ah, of course. The ones who wish to know why we seek to regain corporeal forms.
The truth of the matter is as plain to see as the neighboring systems. But my single account would fail to satisfy the requirements for scientific objectivity. Thus did I bid them waken you. Am I the only one who struggles to tell who we speak?
Graha, please don't be rude.
Nay, thou art not. In the absence of corporeal forms and the divergence they afford, may have such similarity in voices. By By the way, Coffee, have you already observed the requisite custom for the travelers? That one is expected to do when receiving guests, a matter of proper form.
Put your head back on.
Ah, yes. So long has it been. It had completely escaped my mind, and still does. What was it again? I can't seem to remember.
Put your head back on. So they essentially sound the same, much like the pixies from Fairly Odd Parents.
Neither do I. Pity. I was hoping you would. Perhaps we can search the archives for the answer. Come now, Need. The archives have long been frozen, lest we subject ourselves to further dolor. Surely you can recall that much.
What is happening?
They've known so much that they know nothing.
Ah, of course. Food. The custom is to serve food. Beings of flesh, such as they must regularly replenish their aether. By contributing to the replenishment, we communicate our friendly intention. That's right, that's right. We duly invite you to join us in communal repast, after which we may engage in leisurely conversation. If we have a chance to learn something, then I see no reason to decline. Excellent. If you would care to follow, we shall feast you on the purest aether.
God, you know, it'd be funny. It's like, well, we don't have food that you could actually eat, so they go up to one of the crystals where there's no, like, consciousness anymore, and it's just the aether. Their friends are like,
Wait, I'm gonna go and
let's make something out of Joe over here.
This facility is where we replenish our aether. There's no particular name for it, but we traditionalists sometimes use the word restaurant. Now then, if you would take your place with your comrades, the space will soon be awash with purest ether. Please absorb as much as you'd like.
Oh,
Wait.
over here, okay.
What if this is...
I ain't got a choice. Let's go.
It's a restaurant. Do you want to be rude?
They're offering to foot our bill.
You brace yourself
for a rush of sweet ether, but nothing seems to happen. Perhaps you need to wait a little longer.
Okay.
I'm waiting. Do I need to eat some of the crystal?
You brace yourself again, but again, nothing seems to happen.
Just as I had suspected. As meticulously as one might recreate the E's homeworld, this is Ultima Thule. One cannot simply generate aether here. As recreations, our friends are oblivious to this fact, to the very truth of their existence, much like the phantoms of the recreated Emerald. However, appearances may seem... We must ever be mindful that it is the memories of the dead with whom we deal.
They might already be gone.
Damn it, I wanted my aether burger. Aether macaroni.
So, did you have your fill of ether?
Yes.
Alas, we couldn't absorb it. A deficiency in our forms, it would seem.
Oh, how very unfortunate. May I ask how you normally replenish your ether?
Consume.
Through your mouths, you say? How primitive and quaint. To think that their mouths serve not only to expel sound, but draw in sustenance besides. Such life forms have long since vanished from our systems. Though we regrettably could not partake in your magnificent feast, rest assured we feel your welcome most keenly. In the course of acquainting ourselves with your sophisticated ways, however, we could not fail but wonder, wherefore do you wish to obtain vessels of flesh, and thence to vanish? Would you not favor us with an explanation? You flesh and blood beings are always so hasty. It does have its charm, however. Very well, we shall indulge you. In the beginning, when the E yet possessed corporeal bodies, our ancestors dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge and technological advancement. By transcending all limitations, we believe we would eliminate sorrow and abide in true happiness. From the tangible, such as land, to the intangible, such as labor, there exists myriad hindrances to progress, but the most confining of all was the flesh itself. Our natural lifespan was distressingly middling, you see, too short to enjoy unhurried lives, yet too long to be considered disposable. Furthermore, to simply maintain the integrity of our bodies demanded considerable resources. But we managed to solve this problem. After long years, we discovered how to become non-corporeal entities with everlasting lives, untroubled by the failures of the flesh. Thus changed, we had more time and freedom to continue our scientific pursuits. We went on to make ever greater strides in our quest to transcend all limitations, until we finally decided to challenge the last of them all, the limit of knowledge. That is to say, deciphering the laws of creation. We sought to discover how the universe came into being and explain all extant phenomena, and thence predict the future. If we could but achieve this, we believe that we would be free from uncertainty and anxiety.
And did you find the answers you sought?
Yes, we did. Our efforts revealed to us a fundamental truth. Knowledge of said truth is essential for the continuation of our conversation. If you would learn more, we would share it with you. No, we mustn't. Primitive as they are, it would be unspeakably cruel to deprive them of their ignorance. They are possessed of corporeal forms, their lives readily ended. As for those who have gone before, is it not our duty to warn them? What thinkest thou?
Wouldn't click for some reason.
We have deliberated and come to a consensus. If you are resolved to know it, we will disclose to you the truth we discovered, the truth to the universe. Zika set the stone pillars just outside the bounds of the abode, a place called Elegia.
I feel like whoever they tell this truth to will become unraveled as well.
Ishtola probably, considering they keep highlighting her. And I'm gonna cry.
Oh, she's probably she's probably figuring. Well, this is probably the next way forward.
The fundamental truth. We will hear it, of course. Let us learn what has led such an enlightened people to this indolent end.
Where knowledge leads.
It's a painting.
Ere we join thee, there is one trifling matter I would fain investigate. Warrior of Light, Rahatia, might I trouble you for your assistance? But of course. My thanks. We shall head outside the abode, if you would kindly follow me.
I know not what mischief you are plotting, Orianche, but I trust you have our best interests at heart. The rest of us shall go on ahead to Elegia. Lest you worry, we won't start without you.
Aye, this place shall serve. Is it the spring that you wish to investigate? Pray forgive me, my friends, but there is naught to investigate. 'Twas but a pretense to speak in private. You have our undivided attention. This is the person you get at. As As we've established here in Ultima Thule, those denizens of ruined stars are recreated in their twilight days. Yet one question doth arise in my mind. So faithfully formed are the simulacra, they believe themselves yet amongst the living. How dost thou suppose this is possible?
Meteon has taken their hearts into herself.
Of course! She must have visited the stars of the dragons and the E before either race perished in their entirety. Thus, could she make their emotions her own, and with them create more faithful simulacra than she had relied on any historical account. So too did I theorize, and upon that assumption, consider how those two races may have met their demise. According to thine own tale, Meteon perceiveth the emotions of those nearby as her own, heightened sense of empathy, intrinsic to her nature as an intellectie. In the course of her starfaring journey, she encountered beings who strongly desired a cessation of their existence. She would be powerless before that desire. Even as she possesseth the power to grant it, the power of dynamis. It is my supposition that, overwhelmed by their longing for death, Meteon did unleash dynamis and ushered the dragons and the E unto their doom. Of course, such was not always the outcome. Full many stars did she find already lost to ruin. In order to create a terminus, however, the fervent desire for the end is essential. Therefore, should you struggle to find your way forward, pray ask yourselves this. In the place where you stand, whose is the soul that yearneth most desperately for oblivion? Why do you tell us this now? Ne'er again would I betray your trust. This pledge did I make to my comrades. In bringing thee into my confidence, I would remain true to my word. As for thee, let us consider it my fitting reward for the secrets I harbored for the Crystal Exarch.
Damn, Ariane J.
I once placed my faith in thy chosen path, walking at thy side full knowing that we were bound for thy demise. I ask now that thou returnest the favor and abide in faith as I fulfill mine own destiny. If you say my debt has come due, how am I to refuse? 'Tis indelicate of me, I know full well, and I can but beg thy forgiveness. Yet even if I must needs go to such lengths, I cannot well feign ignorance of the answer I have found within. The answer to the question, in what moment might I stand strongest? After all we've been through, I will say only this. Do what you must. Do what you must and see your conviction through. I shall, my friend. I shall.
I'm just so nervous now.
Without further ado, then, let's go join our comrades. Let's be off to Telegia.
Seems
You know
everyone is
something.
accounted for. Shall we then?
Yes, let's watch another friend die.
Why do you say it like that?
Please continue.
Oh shit.
Tell us about this truth you discovered.
Very well.
Oh god.
Bear in mind, however, that the purpose of this conversation is not to impart scholarly knowledge, for such requires that you comprehend the subject matter, which you will not. We will forego the intricacies of our scientific methodology and deal only with the conclusion, the end of our society and our world. We acknowledge, with regret, that your star is in the midst of the same panic-induced cataclysm that befell Deneb 3. As such, in order to avoid causing undue distress, we will refrain from explicitly stating how much time you have remaining.
You are entirely too kind. I pray you recount your tale as you see fit.
Put your head back on.
In the beginning, the universe was but a tiny particle. Then suddenly, this particle began to expand.
Big Bang.
Having remained entirely in the bounds of your star, the phenomenon may be difficult for your kind to grasp. But this expansion has since continued unabated. Speculating that the universe could not grow indefinitely, we sought to learn what might occur, and made a worrying discovery. The stars will continue to spread apart, as will their finite thermal energies. Eventually, all heavenly bodies will grow cold and freeze. No new stars will be born, and the universe will enter into an eternal ice age.
They need to go away.
In hopes of proving that this determination was erroneous, we scrutinized our research from all angles, even as we sought to avert the everlasting winter. The endeavor proved fruitless. So infamously so, in fact, that it became synonymous with vain effort. The universe as we know it would end, and there is no way to prevent it. Beneath the weight of this knowledge, our society stagnated. Though we had time still, it was a cold comfort. Why strive for anything when desolation is assured? When our wealth of wisdom, accumulated since the dawning of our kind, would be forever lost. No civilization would rise from our ashes. No scholar recover our knowledge. In silence unbroken, naught would stir. Intellect was once our pride. Overnight, it became our shame. Our works, monuments to futility. Immortality, our greatest invention, became a source of suffering. Rather than suffer on, many chose to unmake themselves by means of etheric exsanguinators. Etched upon these stones are the testaments of such souls. Though many left no words at all, thinking it a pointless gesture. Once we have obtained vessels of flesh, we likewise intend to vanish. If you understand this, understand aught of our tale, you will abandon your quest for knowledge. Ignorance truly is bliss. If you would cling to your illusory happiness, remain primitive and pure. It is the only way.
So that's your story. While I appreciate your advice, I will not heed it. Convinced though you may be of this truth, it is yours and not mine. Indeed, truth, I have ever believed, is in the eye of the beholder.
Are you suggesting that we have reached a faulty conclusion? That our science failed us?
Hardly. As you yourself said, the subject matter is beyond my comprehension. And that, I accept, is true. I do not possess the knowledge to prove or disprove your conclusion. In my mortal years, I doubt I could even approach the wisdom of the air. But of one thing am I absolutely certain. I would not be happier in ignorance.
Y'shtola, no! You mustn't!
The most important lesson I've learned is that learning isn't simply passing one's eyes over words. Nay, 'tis when understood for oneself that knowledge attains its true value. This is what has sustained me, driven me onward in joy and wonder, in anger and sorrow. The universe may end, and all may be for naught, but I will live as I always have. I will always seek out new knowledge, and no conclusion of yours, no matter how grim, can dampen my desire.
I suppose it is only to be expected. Their feeble minds cannot fathom the terrifying gravity of it all. But worry not. We consider it our duty to enlighten you, and we will not stop until you grasp the full extent of our despair.
Though my body will soon dissipate, there may be a way to restore it. Azan's magic. So long as our souls remain, you can use it to summon us back. But you mustn't, for it would mean losing our way forward. This I only reveal so that you can promise not to invoke the magic. We came here knowing what victory may cost, so press on. Press on, and do not look back.
I shall join you. As subterfuge is not required, thou shalt not suffer for mine absence.
Urianger.
My resolve hath never been as strong as thine. Full oft have I wavered in my decisions, and afterwards been stricken with regret. In spite of this, I may still stand with my comrades, supporting them as they attempt the greatest of feats. This truth I have learned in the course of our journey. And many though my shortcomings may be, I may also claim to excel in prophecies. My studies, into which have granted me the flexibility of mind needed to bend this malleable reality. Thus shall I hope that thou mayest have the strength to resist, and our comrades the strength to continue.
With you to urge us on, how could we possibly fail?
What's this? An extinguished civilization. Rekindled.
That's right. Our quest doesn't end here. We'll press on, and we will find you.
There. That's where you'll find me.
Is that another star?
Of the stars we visited, most were already devoid of life. And where there was life still, the inhabitants wished for death. But even death, we learned, isn't truly the end. It is but a part of the cycle of rebirth. Souls return to the star, or in its absence, a larger flow. And eventually they are reborn. Alive again, to know suffering anew. True salvation lies not in dying. It lies in not being born. This is the gift I would give to you. To all life on beautiful Atheris. To that end, we created an egg wherein life cannot quicken. That dead sun. Attain it if you can, before your friends' emotions fade away, along with their protection.
That's not a star. That's a sun.